With the recent passing of actor David Prowse, who embodied Darth Vader in the original trilogy, now is even more a better time to reflect on his work and his character. My heart goes out to the fans, and most importantly his family. May he rest in peace. I love Star Wars. There wasn't a time where I didn't have it in my life. It has always been there and is still a large part of my life. When I proposed the idea of an iconic image, my mind immediately raced to Star Wars, and I was flipping through frames in my head that I could talk about. Then I noticed that all of these images in my mind featured one common thing, and that was Darth Vader. Darth Vader is, in my opinion, of course, the most iconic villain in cinema history. Beyond that, just the image of the character has become iconic in its own right. But how did this happen? How did Darth Vader, a character more than 40 years old, withstand the test of time and still be so iconic and instantly recognizable, even in our modern day? To answer that, we have to go back to 1975. Where the first Star Wars film was an early stage of the concept. George Lucas had assigned concept artist Ralph McQuarrie to create a series of concept paintings for his newly written space opera film. McQuarrie first produced an image of the duo of droids set to appear in the film, of course, being the iconic C-3PO and R2-D2. But we won't get into that too much. The main villain of Lucas's film was described by Lucas himself to be a guy with a cape, a portable iron lung, a mask, a samurai helmet, and a chest piece that had electronics on it. Pretty straightforward, right? McQuarrie took that, and the second piece was given to Lucas in February of 1975 and was the first image of the now iconic Darth Vader. Lucas brought this to the executives at Fox and they loved it. And this image, as well as others, was a large part of what greenlit the project in the first place. Fast forward to 1977, where you see this on the big screen for the first time. Although the final product in the film was altered differently, the base image was there. Because of the art that was then transferred over to the film, you really get that wow factor when you first see him. The design of the character and the way he was shot in the film, with the stark contrast of Vader's rich black suit against many white backgrounds featured in the first and two films to follow, provided this silhouette that was cleverly ingrained into people's minds after walking out of the theater. Vader did not receive too much backstory in the first film, which provided a mystery element to the character, providing the question of who was under that mask. In an interview with Christopher Nolan and George Lucas, Lucas described his idea of Vader, and this quote helps to understand the sense of mystery of the character for being an attraction to him. Lucas says,
Quote, "Is he a monster? Is there a guy in there? Is he a robot? They didn't know who he was. He was just a villain. He was the villain, and he was such an iconic villain, which you can, at the time I didn't have any idea that any of this would work or that it would have the impact that it did. You just don't think that way. You just do your best job and it comes out."
Lucas was even unsure at the time of Vader's design, but he knew that this character was meant to embody evil, which it did, and was another reason for the attraction to the character. Lucas and company knew they were sitting on a gold mine, with Darth Vader and his inherently quote-unquote cool design. What do you do with easily marketable characters and a powerhouse of an IP? You market and merchandise the crap out of it. And that is exactly what Lucasfilm, and now Disney, did. Also, just Darth Vader's helmet alone was featured in the sequel trilogy of Star Wars films, which speaks volumes to just how iconic the image is. Anthropologist Drew Eisworth describes a large part of the reason for Darth Vader's recognizability when he says, quote, "Darth Vader products were made and sold to children and families until he was synonymous with the Star Wars and fantasy itself. He was marketed into stardom and has solicited himself as an icon in his own right. Darth Vader has become iconic and recognizable in multiple ways beyond just his looks. The Darth Vader breathing sound is iconic and is arguably the most recognizable sound in film/pop culture history for that matter. Also, the story of Anakin Skywalker's tragic fall to the dark side, featured in the prequel trilogy of Star Wars films, has only furthered the Darth Vader iconography. The image of Darth Vader has never gone away in its more than 40-year existence, and I don't think it ever will.